All right, Tamulandar Etlura and sisters, we have Mr. Riaz, the immigration lawyer, the immigration expert here. So the idea is, recently, as most of you know, in UK, there is a massive announcement of earned settlement changes, right? ILR changes, which is now becoming earned settlement, which is, as a standard, it's becoming 10 years with some discounts and with some extra time and whatnot. So, as you know, I am not an immigration expert, but I have somebody who is today, who is here to answer all our questions, right? Without a further ado, let's jump in. But before that, please do go to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and let's jump in. Hello, Riaz. How are you?
Hi, Jay. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on this podcast today.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure, sir. So we've been looking for an expert in this area. So would you like to introduce yourself? Give us a quick high-level overview.
So, as you've already told the audience, my name is Riaz Chowdary, and I'm an immigration lawyer based in London. So, I've been providing advice on personal and business immigration to individuals, organizations, helping out businesses to acquire sponsor licenses, making skilled worker visa applications, and all sort of stuff that is relating to all kind of visas. So I've been dealing with all sort of immigration and litigation matters also. So if someone has been refused, so they want to challenge that decision, they want to go for a judicial review or lodge an appeal. So we are there to help any sort of immigration problem.
So where can they contact you before we move on?
So I have my social handles, which are managed by my team. So people can contact me over there. They can drop me a message. They have a link to book a consultation with me on all of my TikTok, Instagram, Facebook channels. And they can also reach me out on the landline number, which we have on our website on the platform of Privity Legal, which is our business basically. So we are based in central London here. So there are different venues which I can be reached out.
Brilliant. Privity Legal, that is awesome. So you've been here in the UK almost the same time as myself. I've been here for 18 years. And we have seen lots of changes, right? Especially with the immigration visa rules and whatnot, right? But I don't think I have ever seen this much of a big change, right? I haven't even heard of it. It is a massive change, and it is a massive impact for a number of people. What's your view on it? Why do you think they decided to make that big of a change?
I think if you look at the past decade, whereas the Tory government or the Conservatives, they have been brought by the public to control the immigration, for which the Labour Party has already been accused that they are more lenient and they are favoring the migrants. They will open the floodgate, but they actually failed delivering. And hence the arrivals following the Brexit started to triple. Is a lot more than what the people could have expected. So there are illegal migrants coming every day in hundreds and thousands, and also there was a surge in legal migration following the Brexit because there was a shortage of skilled people to work in the UK. But now, since they have brought so many people, and moreover there were humanitarian crises, what they call like in Ukraine or also in Hong Kong. So they introduced different two schemes, including the Afghan settlement scheme, which they opened. So there were so many people invited by the government legally, but now they fear that all of those who will be getting settlement in next couple of years' time. So they have a public pressure that this should be stopped. There is a lot of polarization, as you might have seen on the TV. Everyone is talking, and it's like a scapegoat, making immigrants the hot topic for every problem. So they believe that the mass immigration has put this economy into trouble, and the public services pressure is just because of the immigration. But that's not actually the picture, because they have failed to deliver. They have not built any hospitals. They have not done any reforms. So hence there is a lot of inflation, a lot of stress on the public services like policing, NHS. There is a long waiting time, as you know. So many factors have contributed, and also as many far left or far right parties, you could say, they've been also targeting migrants only. So considering the public sentiment, of course, they've decided to bring so harsh and so, I would say, devastating changes for many families.
Yeah, it is truly devastating, isn't it? But part of me thinks, right? Okay, there is illegal migration, and there are asylum seekers and whatnot. And then sometimes I think, so because of that, why should people like skilled workers who are paying taxes and who are doing everything to contribute to the economy, why should they suffer?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree because economic migration is the backbone of their, giga economy as well. Because small businesses, even medium-sized businesses, and even some large enterprise, they rely upon foreign skilled migrants. So, especially if we talk about the healthcare sectors, there are so many doctors, nurses, paramedics, even the care workers, they are foreign workers. So, they needed people to work for them. But now, since they have some sort of public opinion that immigration should be stopped, so they have put all the burden on migrants. Like they blame for every of their failure that the migration is the only problem here. But in reality, if you look at the businesses will suffer. Hospitality, they stopped completely. There is no skilled occupation code anymore for people who have let's say a hospitality hotel or a restaurant business. They cannot hire more people now. Only those who have already come, you can you can extend their visas, but there is no new application that can be made.
Yeah, absolutely. So this change, the earned settlement, right? In a brief, what is it? What what does it predominantly? What does it talk about?
Okay, there are few pillars, I would say, which upon which they have built that consultation paper. So it's not yet obviously a law, as you know, and all of our audience might be aware that it's not yet a law. It's just a consultation. So there will be, after following the consultation, they'll be making a draft bill which will go certain readings. Then the debates or the standing committees presentation in the parliament. So if they are doing let's say a primary legislation change, then they have to do a lot of things. But if it is a statement of changes which can easily be challenged in the courts, which I fear that they might not do this time, because they know that the legitimate expectations case already exists previously in the court, and they've lost that plot previously for the HSMP people back in 2006. So now, if we come back to the earned migration scheme, so there is a factor called suitability. So previously, when someone had a criminal conviction, etc., so there was always a time frame in which that conviction would lapse, like after 12 months, 4 years, 10 years, 15 years, one can apply. But now it is very flat. So if someone had a criminal convictions, they can be refused, and there is no timeline when they can reapply again. So that is one of the factors. Suitability is there. So the person must be of a good character, which has always been the criteria. But there are other two main criteria which they have built upon that model. So one is contribution. Though everyone is contributing, they are paying their taxes, but they want a lot more. So what they have suggested is that if someone is a high earner and they have an annual salary of £125,140, they could get earlier settlement. Because, as you know, they have changed the baseline from 5 years to 10 years. So those who earn more salary, they can get it in 5 years' time. So their period will be shortened, not even 5 years, sorry, 3 years' time for those who are earning more than that. And those who earn £50,270, I remember, so they could get settlement in 5 years. But the rest, their minimum duration will be either 10 years or 15 years, for especially for those who are working at RQF level 3. So that's what the proposal is. But on the same side, they've said that this period can be reduced if you make certain kind of community work, you do volunteering. So your duration of baseline 10 years can be reduced either 3 years or 5 years. So you can still be settling in 5 years time. But how that model would work, obviously the Home Office will announce it further. So that is a contribution thing, like having high salary, doing voluntary work, or obviously if you have met the high level of English, which they call integration. So if someone has achieved a C1 level, so they said they could have a 1 year reduced from the baseline of 10 years. So they can settle in 9 years, let's say. But on top of it, if they have made contributions, they can also count those contributions as well. So the maximum impact will be counted, let's say 3 to 5 years for doing voluntary work, maybe 1 year for the high level of English. So these are plus points. So this is contribution and integration model. But on the same side, they've said if you will use public funds, like on certain visas, obviously the public funds, recourse of public funds is allowed, not to skilled workers, obviously, and neither healthcare workers. They cannot have a recourse to public funds. So if they do, they will be having an increase of 5 years or 10 years in their ILR period. So let's say if there's a baseline of 10 years, but you've used public funds for 12 months, you will get settled in 15 years. But if you have used public funds for more than 1 year, then you'll be getting settled in 20 years. So that's deeply concerning, because there are so many families who actually struggle to meet their ends, especially in cases where there are single parents.
Yeah. Nice. It is hard, isn't it? So the proposal, that's what, let's call it a proposal for now, right? It's not the rules.
Yeah.
It's just a consultation. So the proposal, let's say after the debates and discussions and whatnot, it goes live in April, right? If it does, from the outset, who does it apply to?
What the consultation initial proposal suggests, that it will be applicable for anyone who have come from 2021 onwards. So healthcare visa came into effect from 2022. So it'll be obviously applicable on them, and also those who have been on skilled worker visa since 21. They said we will apply on those also. So there are nearly more than 2 million people who will be getting affected.
Right. Oh, sorry, I was under the impression this applies to everyone regardless of 2021. Everyone.
No, it'll be backdated from 2021 onwards.
All right. So if somebody came here in 2020, it doesn't apply to them.
Yeah, they've already got settled, because it was always a 5 years route. So if someone has come on a let's say on a skilled worker visa in 2020,
no, what I'm asking is, sorry to interrupt. So if somebody came here as a student in 2020, and then they served their studentship for 18 months, and then they got their PSW for 2 years, so which makes it 2023, end of 2023.
Yeah. Oh, I got your question now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you mean that those who have come before and they haven't got settled, but they got their visa, let's say from 21 onwards, because they were on a non-settlement route before. Student, graduate is a non-settlement route. So that time is not considered anyway. So from the point, let's say you've got your skilled worker visa in 2021, that's when you still have time to qualify in next year. So probably they want to stop people who have come from that year, particular year, and getting settlement in 2026. So there might be 250,000, 500,000 people who will be applying settlement next year. So this is what they want to stop.
All right. Okay.
And it will obviously apply on those who have come even before that, but they got their visa in 2021, because that is the set point.
Okay, so that makes total sense. Because I was under the impression, all right, if it's under 2021, this doesn't sound right. Okay, but if they are on a settlement route from 2021, then it applies to them. Yeah, brilliant.
And moreover, if you remember, there is a 10 years long residency route for those who have spent lawful 10 years in this country. So suppose if someone has come in, let's say 2016, 2017, 18, 19, they were nearly to qualify. Some of them might be qualifying next year. By the time if they bring these changes, don't know what will happen to them, because they will be either under the new regime, because there is no 10-year settlement straight away anymore. There is no automatic right. So you have to earn it. Don't know how they will apply this on those who are on 10 years route already.
Yeah, in the document, I remember reading the 10-year long residence route will be replaced by the earned settlement. Yeah. So I guess they're all, they have to earn their settlement again.
Obviously, every economic migration route where we have skilled worker, healthcare, scale up, all the other point-based visas, excluding they've excluded innovator, which is obviously for high worth individuals, and also global talent. They are excluded as of now, and also there is no impact on partners of British citizens or people who are settled there and they have their spouses in the country. So they said they will not also be affected.
Okay, no worries.
Let's at this stage.
Okay. Yeah. As per the proposal, let's address the biggest elephant in the room, right? The care worker visa. What's going to happen to them?
So the initial proposal is to increase their baseline period to 15 years, which is I would say that is very horrific and draconian, because they've been already working in an environment which is very challenging. So people, they look after their elderly ones, people with mental health illnesses, disabilities, etc. So their job is already very challenging, and they have very long working hours, most of them. So now you have brought people on a commitment. They have made their life decision based on your commitment that we will give you settlement if you pay us this fee, you spend this much time, you do these things, meet the required threshold, but now you are backing off from your words. So I would say like it is very inhuman treatment for them. Especially they are quite I think they are more than the skilled workers in the healthcare visa, especially these care workers. So there are quite a lot of people getting affected. So their initial proposal is to set it to 15 years. So let's see what the proposal finally comes up with.
So if they set it for 15 years, but in the couple of months ago they said the latest extensions for the care worker visa is 2028. So what's going to happen after 2028? Nobody's going to stay for 15
that was
years.
July 22nd of July 28. That was the cutoff date after which no new applications can be made, which means that if someone is switching, so they could make a 5 years application, let's say, which will end in 2033. So suppose they increase the period of baseline settlement from 5 years to, let's say, 15 years. So those who have come in 2022, they've got their visa in 2022. So technically they were getting settlement in 27 after 5 years. But now, if that is 15 years, so that means that the baseline, the cutoff date of 28, that has to be removed again, because they will never reach the 15 years time otherwise. So I think they will obviously there are so many issues in that paper in the initial consultation proposal. So let's see how they come up with.
Yeah, it's not very clear, isn't it? If somebody has skilled worker visa from 2021 or let's say 2022, they already served 4 years or 3 years and expecting an ILR in the next couple of years. And it's very, if they're not making 50,000 to 70, it's very, not so good news for them. They spoke about transitioning or transition period in the document, in the proposal.
Yeah.
What could that be?
I think they want to just read the impact of industry, what the proposals would come back. Let's say from NHS is one of the biggest stakeholders. Then there are private care homes, there are domiciliary care companies, there are people who work in IT, different sectors. So they will measure the impact, obviously, and based on that, they will decide whether we have to go with the transitional period, like we allow those who have already come and let them settle. And then from the point, maybe they will set another trigger point from where this earned settlement scheme will start to apply. And ideally, it has to be on new applications only, not those who have already spent 4 years, 3 years, and they are nearly there to get settlement. And obviously, I think it's very unfair with them to treat them like this way, that they are actually a problem for their economic situation, or and blame them for everything, I would say. So
Yeah.
I think it is very unlawful and it shouldn't apply on them.
Yeah, it's like you're reaching out for the prize in the end, and then they're just chopping off your hands.
Exactly. And I think there will be legal challenges, so there'll be a lot of litigation that will open following this proposal comes into into effect.
Absolutely. So I have a few questions here. I would like to start with the first question is, if the dependent for a skilled worker visa is earning 75K, will they both be eligible for ILR some point, or does the main applicant still need to?
They haven't said anything about the dependent, so it says only if the applicant means obviously the skilled worker they are referring to. So it is about the main skilled worker who is a lead applicant. But if you read the consultation paper, they've mentioned about dependents as well, that they are not going to get it automatically. Even if the lead applicant qualifies, we might add something for them. So if the dependent is already earning this much salary, I think that will contribute towards their settlement, not towards the lead applicant settlement.
Okay. Quickly, what's this all malarkey about FLR? I only heard of it recently. And also, if somebody is on FLR, how can they go back to a skilled worker or some other route?
Well, there are different kind of applications which are considered as further leave to remain. So further leave to remain is a terminology used for majority of the applications which are made in country. So let's say if someone has a family life, so they can make a further leave to remain on application on family life. If family life is based on, like if they have a partner who is a British, settled, EU national, etc. So they make FLR application based on family life. If someone has lived here for a longer period of time, so they can make it on private life. Let's say if someone has lived here 20 years, so they go on that route, like a private life route. Similarly, children, who, because their period is 7 years, so if children have spent 7 years, so they can also do the private life application. So this is FLR FP application.
Okay.
Now, people, they oftenly do a bridging application nowadays, especially when if someone is waiting for a sponsorship allocation, sponsor license, application decision, course allocation, etc. So people do bridging applications, which can extend their existing visa to the point where they can make a new application, let's say. So I need maybe 1 month, 2 months, so I can make an FLR meanwhile, so that my skilled worker COS allocation has been made or found the new sponsor, and then I can make a variation of that application. So FLR is people using it for bridging mainly.
Okay.
Previously, fee waiver was very popular, but they've said, there are consequences of making a fee waiver application now.
Okay, no worries, great. So another question I have here is, in the proposed earned settlement, will the clock rest, in the sense like if somebody spends 6 months on a dependent visa and 4.5 years on a skilled worker visa, so technically they are qualified for ILR under current rules?
Under the 10 years long residence, you mean?
No. Under the 5-year settlement route just now.
So can you repeat that question again?
So if what they're asking is in the proposal, for example, first 6 months were on a dependent visa, and then they shifted to 4.5 years on a skilled worker visa, lawfully completed 5 years, and I will meet the criteria for the last 5 years earning 51K salary. Will they still be able to apply under the new rules?
You see, it is very difficult to answer a question which is relating to changes in future which will happen. So if, let's say, if someone is on a skilled worker visa, they've already met the required threshold, so they might get settlement in 5 years' time. But the time they have spent as a dependent, that they cannot count towards their 5 years' time, because that was as a dependent, not as a lead applicant.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One big question many people have is, so the long residence has been replaced, as we just spoke.
It's not yet replaced.
Will be in the
because
proposal.
People will get panic.
Proposed to be replaced. So, in the earned settlement in the new proposal, will the student and the graduate routes be considered as part of the 10-year settlement?
Because they've already removing the 10 years. So the proposal is that there will be no 10 years long residency route. It will only be earned settlement. So you have to switch on to some route which leads to settlement. So not a combination of visas may be possible to clock 10 years time anymore.
All right. Okay. So the answer is no. Okay. One other question. The proposed contribution option 1 and 2, the salary threshold of 50,000 to 70 and 125K on England tax band. How about those in Scottish employees? Scotland employees, will they consider separately for Scotland employees?
Not sure, because we haven't seen anything specifically for Scotland or Northern Ireland. I don't think so. There'll be a separate provision for them. Maybe just the RQF levels, because they are different in Scotland. So might be something there. They can have some room.
One big maybe this is the time for Scotland to step in and offer 5-year route on their own. So one big confusion for many people is, what's the actual income? 50,000 to 70 after taxes, or it's a before taxes gross?
It's a taxable income. They said it's a taxable income, which means the £50,270, that figure is a gross figure.
Yeah.
So taxable income means not the net income is always which is your takeaway after the taxes. So taxable income is 50,270.
It's not.
So it's a gross.
Some people are adding 12,500 personal allowance to that number.
No, I think the reading which I observed is that it has to be the gross.
Yeah. If somebody on a skilled worker visa makes 40K, and then one of the provisions is they can work in the same profession for 20 hours more, right? From the 20 hours, if they make up another 11, 12K, that makes it to 52K taxable income, right? Will they still be eligible, you think, under the proposal?
As the current point-based system is, let's say, if you have a salary of, let's say, £31,300 required for settlement for many people. So that has to be from your employment, which is sponsored hours with your main employer, not from the supplementary work. So supplementary work is an addition that you are entitled to do, but you cannot count that money towards, let's say your employer is not paying you 31,300, so you cannot use your supplementary work pay to clock the income for the settlement. So I think in this scenario it will be the same, like it has to be your main income, which is from your sponsored employer, not from a supplementary work.
Oh, wow. I guess we'll find out more when the guidance comes out, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So is it the income for calendar year or financial year? Is it last 3 months pay slips, or any?
So what the proposal says is that it has to be in the last 3 years prior to the date of settlement. So you can have a 12-month rolling period. Let's say I'm getting settled next month, so I have to roll back every month, December to December.
Okay, right, brilliant. I have one last question, Riaz. That's it. I'll let you go. I know you're waiting for your next appointment. Let me ask you this guy. When I was first sponsored by my employer for the skilled worker visa, minimum requirement was 26,000. I'm currently on 35,000. The next renewal due is May 2027. I understand under the new rules, the minimum salary will be 41,000. Yeah, I will no longer qualify for new entrant. If my salary remains at 37,000 by the time of the renewal, will I still be eligible to renew my skilled worker visa?
So after the discount has lapsed, which is usually for 4 years as a new entrant, so the full salary has to be paid. So if they don't pay the required salary, they won't have the required points for the salary. So obviously they'll application be refused. So they won't be able to make an application based on the fact that they are not getting the appropriate salary for that occupation code.
Brilliant, awesome. Before you go, can you finish it up with what's the positive about this proposal?
I think if we look at sorry. So if we look at what they have proposed is not in some cases difficult to achieve. Let's say I haven't met the required salary threshold, but I have been doing a lot of community work and I've been doing volunteering, and my English is also good, so I can have the settlement earlier. So they just want people to integrate more, make more contribution, not just by coming here, making money, and paying the fees. So they just want to add few more bits to it. Obviously, the baseline period shouldn't be like 15 years. I would never endorse that. It has to be reasonable. If they still want to do it, it has to be some reasonable time, and out of that time you could say that if you will volunteer, etc., then we will reduce that baseline period also. Even for existing workers, I think it'll be very unfair if the government would place the retrospective effect of the rules to those who have already come. But I think there are many positive things, like they have excluded innovator, global talent, persons who are dependents of British or settled persons, etc. So some of them, they've got, let's say, no impact at all. And those who have got, they can still reduce it with the contribution model that they have proposed. But let's see what the final shape of this consultation becomes. I don't think so it will apply as the way it has been proposed. So there might be a lot of changes coming.
Brilliant. Riaz, thank you so much for your time and expertise and advice.
Thank you for inviting me to this show, and I hope your audience will benefit from our time today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.